First, I want to also return to the Afcon. It's a surprising tournament. We see the big guys being quiet, pulled back. We see the exit of Ghana. We also saw Egypt escaped a narrow hole, and so I think it's a in relation to the topic, and I'll come to that. I think I see progress when we look at this Afcon, because we are used to see Cameroon and Ghana and Nigeria. And Egypt and Tunisia and Morocco being the big guys knocking everybody out, but this time they are really suffering. We see teams like Cape Verde coming in and become top of the group with the Ghana and Egypt. And this really to me coming back to the topic, and actually it's a question I'm posing for us to start with. Uh, what is that progress, and where are we progressing to? So I think this is like fundamental question to start asking ourselves when we because you mentioned very well at the opening about development, because development was actually this linearity if we go back to Rostow's theory of development, that there's stages that every society has to pass through development, and we have not accept that. It's not true. Every society,
That's their own.
yeah, there's a lot of things happening. But also when we talk about progress, what do we mean here? And I think the main question is, where do we want to go? What should that progress or progression takes us to? So maybe we should start here and try to think what kind of progress we, I don't know, envisions. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think this is a very nice starting point. I have a friend of mine who is also a scholar. He, of course, he studies development studies to master's level, and I think we had a discussion last time, and we're making a bit argument. So I said, I mean, you have to understand the definition of development. From which angle do you look development? Because I know that some people define development as not absence of growth or something, or from point A to point B. So I think if we agree that we all are a product of the same system, then we will be looking at, okay, we define development as what the white people or the Westerners see as development. Then in this way, we will see that, okay, Africans are not having painted buildings everywhere, skyscrapers, plane, aeroplane. You know what we see as development, when somebody with uniformity in the society. Okay, the aesthetics level, does it conform with what we see here? So, but I think you made a very vital point. Do we need to compare ourselves to the development we know, or do we need to ask ourselves, Africa, what is the way forward? Are we stepping from point A to point B? So I think this is on the position I would define progress as somebody who is sick in Africa, having a good care system, somebody who has access to loan to start up a business, to fend for his family. So we should look at this thing. Are we going to make a clarion call to our government to say, okay, provide some kind of institution to help people who are less privileged so they can have privilege? So this is what I think. Judy.
For me, from a social-cultural perspective, as a social and cultural anthropologist in view, I have learned to question things, question narratives, question labels. So that's why we were so intentional about not using the word development versus underdevelopment. Who is underdeveloping what? What is development? From whose lens are we viewing development? But when we use progress, it's easier to say, oh, from point A to point, is my life progressing or is my life regressing? So we can easily personalize it and now make it relatable to every other thing around us. So the progression for me as an African would begin with me questioning, like, do I have access to basic things, basic needs, fundamental needs, or do I have to seek external help? It's not bad to seek help externally, right? But why do I have to, first of all, seek help externally before moving from point A to B? Can I not use the resources I have available around me? Say I want to cook a pot of soup, I pick salt and Maggi or whatsoever, and I piece ingredients together to make a delicious pot of soup, and I would ensure that I have the ingredients that I need. Depends on the kind of soup I want to make, that I would be able to make it possible. Well, do I now have to start thinking, oh, I'll go and ask my neighbor for Maggi, or I would ask my neighbor for rice before I can actually feed myself as an individual? Like, it's not bad to ask for help if you're at that place where you don't, when you are, you don't have the opportunity or the privilege to help yourself. But is that sustainable? Is it sustainable that I cannot help myself? And this is where the state of things in Africa, where it's not even sustainable anymore for you to take care of your own self. How much more taking care of your own immediate family, not even extended family, because now we are beginning to wake up from that this need to save everybody. You want to send your uncle's children to school, you want to take care of the whole family when you haven't even finished taking care of your own self and your immediate needs. For me, it's a deep thing to think of, because I have heard people complain, I have also been in that position of complaining. And then I realized that complaining is really not going to change anything. We have done that. So too much of that.
Action, of
We need to start taking actions, yes. And we cannot only depend on the government. As much as in the real sense of things, we have been made to believe that change only begins from the government first. Government has to make policies. They have to build. Yeah, it has to come from it. Yeah, it has been ingrained in our psyche that if the government does not make it happen, then it is never going to happen. But let us be realistic. Look at me personally. I'm a creative, and I see our artists, our musicians, the way they are excelling in the international, the international arenas, and people are like, when I go to parties and people say, oh, this song, they know celebrities from Nigeria, and it makes me happy that, oh, I can have conversations that doesn't reflect what has been portrayed about Africa on the media. Because the only thing that has been portrayed on the media is how Africa is poor and how children are dying, people are suffering. That has been the media. But now I can have conversations about music. I can have conversation about our food, for example. I can talk about egusi soup. I can talk about... So those things have already started, changing the narratives for me as an African. And for me, that is progress.